Brock Sprunger will be his opponent. Both these players sitting here at 3-1 and have no interest in playing a fair game of Magic.
Every single deck we have seen so far today has featured Griselbrands or Yaya Ballard Task Mage. It is I wonder if that's a trend that's going to continue.
I can only hope so, as both players taking a mull to 6 here. Bruce bringing out the A game as far as the apparel is concerned. I can dig it. I like the tie look.
Dude, what kind of a card is Griselbrand? It's like it's just better than Yawgmoth's Bargain, but it's legal for some reason.
Well, okay, here's what I think. I think that they tested that one a lot and were sure that it was okay in Standard, which they're right about. And maybe they didn't test it enough in the older formats. Maybe.
Dude, why not just unban Yawgmoth's Bargain? Like, why are we wasting time? Let's just get down to it.
Who are you?
Who are you? Griselbrand is legal. Griselbrand is not a realistic Magic card. It is significantly easier to cheat.
Bargain needs to stay away. Look, I have no backing for my opinion. Bargain's a great deal. You're underselling it a little bit.
Remember the old flavor text we used to talk about at CMU, the flavor text, the hidden flavor text. They didn't quite have room for it on the card, but Yawgmoth's Bargain, you know, sure I sold my soul, but I got a really good deal for it.
Yeah, you definitely did. As we are underway here in game number 1 between Sprunger and Rutherford. This is a Ponder from Brock. Gonna take a look at the top 3 cards here. Ponder doesn't give away really anything as far as archetype goes on turn number 1. It can be a whole lot of different decks.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's playing a real deck.
Yes.
But there are a lot of those in Legacy.
Brock's hand's not too great. He actually has just lands and then a Show and Tell in his hand. Taking a look at his deck list, there are 2 copies of Show and Tell along with the reanimation package of Entomb, Exhume, and Reanimate. 2 Show and Tells in the main along with the other 2 hiding out on the board. We see this a lot from Show and Tell, or excuse me, from Reanimator nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, the Show and Tell aspect of both players' decks is not going to be particularly good this game, just given the, you know, how dangerous it is. However, Rutherford actually has access to Gitaxian Probe, whereas Brock has access to Thoughtseize to be able to look at each other's hands to know if the coast is clear, to potentially get some value out of that Show and Tell.
So Brad will shuffle up, pass it back. Mystery card coming here for Sprunger. We will see what this is in just a moment. Rutherford will be ready to take his turn, takes a draw. Looks like he picked up a land for the turn. We'll see if, actually it looks like it was a copy of Griselbrand. See if he wants to go from 0 to 60 here if he's able to. There's a Flooded Strand. This might be a Lotus Petal. It is. It looks like that's going
reveals a little bit more information than Ponder did.
A touch. I'm just going to pass the turn back here. Sprunger will take a draw. Again, it looks like he was on a mulligan of 5. You see a couple of lands there. There's a Underground Sea, a Flooded Strand, and a Polluted Delta. So he will play the Strand and simply pass the turn back over to Rutherford. This start here from Brock is really interesting. You see an Island, a Ponder, and a Flooded Strand. Yes, he did mulligan, but this is a start, I think that if I was Rutherford now, of a Miracle player. You know, they can search for a basic land. Miracles will play 1 or 2 copies of Ponder, depending on the build. There's nothing too crazy going in here, so Rutherford might be a little bit gun-shy to actually try to resolve a sneak attack or a Show and Tell.
Yeah, it is always funny, the kind of the little suggestions, depending on which fetch land you play. When often it just doesn't even matter. Like if you don't have 2 different colors of basic lands, it doesn't even matter. And sometimes, very often, you just want to play so many fetch lands that you're going to have to play some off-color ones. And like a Misty Rainforest or a Scalding Tarn, like Misty Rainforest in particular, sends such a different message than Flooded Strand.
It's then a turn Brainstorm here from Rutherford. That does resolve, puts a couple cards back. Got to take a draw now. It's a City of Traders.
AJ Soccer would be proud.
Yeah, I know. Gitaxian Probe now. Now it's time to see what we're working with.
Drop them.
Yeah, and you get to see exactly right away. Show and Tell ×2, along with an Underground Sea and a Polluted Delta. If you're a savvy player, you understand that these are just the 2 Show and Tells that Reanimator can draw. There is the opportunity, of course, here for this to be a different Sneak and Show deck from Sprunger with a Black Splash, but Legacy decks, if you do follow Legacy quite a bit, you know exactly what Sprunger is up to. Brad going to sacrifice his Lotus Petal, tap the City of Traders along with the Volcanic Island, and guess who just showed up to the party?
Yeah, I think this is a real good play.
Jace the Mind Sculptor. is in the house.
I think Jace the Mind Sculptor has a lot of good abilities in this position.
And it is going to be time to Fate Seal. Take a look at Sprunger's top card.
See, I like just you take a look and you snap it off and you just say, yeah, that's fine. Make him
sack.
fetch. Yeah, absolutely.
What if you're wrong?
No. No.
I'm waiting for the moment.
This play has never, ever backfired.
I'm waiting for the moment on camera when someone does that. Yeah, leave it on top. Draw, kill you. Well, I thought you were going to sacrifice that fetch land, so.
No, there's some risks that are always worth taking, no matter what, no matter the EV.
Brock going to shuffle here through his hand. He's going to play a Polluted Delta. Rutherford didn't know about that. Brad will draw a card for the turn. It is a copy of Show and Tell.
So I think Rutherford's ahead at this point.
A touch. And he is now brainstorming with Jace, so he'll add 3 cards to the hand. 2 of them do have to go back here.
Brock has some stuff, but Jace the Mind Sculptor is better than all.
I heard a rumor mill. The Gathering might be putting the band back together. Any insight?
Yeah. We got some stuff cooking in the oven. And if you just spam tweets at Spruke, you can find out a little bit more information. He'd be happy to tell you.
That's Spruke?
Spruke is Bill Bowden's producer name.
I got you. I had a feeling it wasn't you. No spamming tweets at you?
Well, I don't have any answers.
City Trader's going to be tapped for 2. And then Rutherford will play Scalding Tarn. And, of course, will trigger City of Trader's ability. They'll have to die. Sacrifice this. Make some mana. This will be 4. This looks like it's going to be a sneak attack. The 4-mana spells are out in force right now here for Brad Rutherford.
Yeah, I think this is a really good play, too. I think that Rutherford's setting himself up to put a Grizzlebrand or an Emrakul into play.
I imagine that's probably the case.
Yeah.
Which of those 4-mana spells is better?
The one on the right.
Gotcha.
Rutherford's right.
Yeah. Spurger's going to sacrifice some lands here. These 2 fetch lands. He's going to go down to 17, search out 2 lands from his deck. We'll see if he wants basics or non-basics. He does have a few basics in his deck, 2 swamps and 2 islands.
Now, Tidespout Tyrant is conceivably a fatty that he could get into play that is relevant,
yes.
Right? Now, it's tough because he's got to contend with both Sneak Attack and Jace the Mind Sculptor. However, if he can stick a Tidespout Tyrant and bounce both Jace and Sneak Attack, or perhaps just Jace, and hope that Rutherford bricks, I mean, he's got chances. It's going to take quite the parlay with just 3 mana and nothing in his hand on the previous turn. But, I mean...
You're saying he's got a chance?
Yeah, he's got a chance.
Do want to thank everybody for joining us this weekend as we do work our way through our Legacy tournament here, round 5 of 9. We are in Portland here during Season 3 as Sprunger does draw a copy of Grizzlebrand. Already crowned 1 champion today. Naya Hexproof winning the Standard Open. We're looking for a Legacy champion now.
So it's kind of sweet that if you just drop Grizzlebrand, even though Jace is going to bounce him, you do get a draw 7 out of the deal.
Or 14.
Yeah.
He's an 18. He's got life to work with.
Besides, let's be serious. You're not going to just sit here against Sneak Attack and Jace. If he's got Grizzlebrand or Emrakul in his hand, you're already, in trouble. So you might as well just say the hell with it. Let it ride. I'm a gangsta. Just go ghost ride the whip.
All of those things.
Yeah.
Everything that you just said, I agree with.
Yeah.
Here is a Show and Tell. And I think that Brad is going to fight over this. You see a Forcible in his hand. He's ready to use this. See what card he wants to remove to it, and it will be Jace the Mind Sculptor. How do you feel about Jace being exiled right now?
Pretty good, man. He's got one in play.
Yeah. Show and Tell being taken care of. Rutherford's going to untap very quickly. He's going to take a draw here. Going to activate that Sneak Attack. Grizzlebrand's going to come into play. Brad's got some life to play with, and he will certainly use it. 1 activation is going to put him down to 8. 7 cards coming for Rutherford. He's looking for that 15-pointer in Emrakul. Don't think he found it just yet. He can go down to 1 if he wants to right now. And also activate Jace. And don't forget, he hasn't played a land yet either.
Just remove Simeon's Spirit Guide from the game, sudden shock him.
You lose the game.
No response.
Down to 1 goes Rutherford, so now fetch lands are off. 7 more cards.
What I want to know is, why in the hell can you you can morph your Brine Elemental when your opponent sudden shocks it. That's messed up.
Yeah, I don't know. The rulings on that one, I'm not too sure. Now here's an activation sneak attack. He found an Emrakul, and I don't know about you. Attacking for 22. Sounds pretty good for Brad Rutherford. Wins game number 1 with Sneak and Show. Up a game over Brock Sprunger and his mulligan down to 5 playing Reanimator. As we will take a look here at the sideboard. We will start with Sprunger, who, we're looking for a better draw this go around. 2 copies of Surgical Extraction, a Flusterstorm, 2 Duress, a Caracas, or 2 of them, wow. 2 Show and Tells, an Ashen Rider, an Emrakul of his own, 2 Pithing Needles, 2 copies of Echoing Truth, and a Thoughtseize. I expect to see the Emrakul, the Ashen Rider, maybe the Show and Tells come in. Probably not. I do love Duress. I do love the Thoughtseize. Just a little bit of disruption in the house. Caracas, very good too against the Legendary Creature deck. So it looks like Brock's deck is actually pretty well equipped for Sneak and Show. He just had a bad draw that game.
Well, I think part of it is that he's got a good sideboard against it because Sneak and Show is a little bit rough game 1.
Yeah.
And he does have a lot of tools, so he should be in better shape after sideboarding, particularly if he gets to keep 7 cards.
On Brad's side, what do we see?
2 Swan Song, 2 Blood Moon, an Echoing Truth, Jace the Mind Sculptor, a Pithing Needle, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, I can only assume. Missing a few words here on the 2 Passaggio Shelters All, 3 Pyroclasms, 1 Through the Breach. Most likely we're going to see primarily a little bit of a little bit more control, moving towards a controlling direction. Having stuff like Jace the Mind Sculptor, potentially Echoing Truth or Swan Song. Passaggio is actually not that bad either, just for fighting through Force of Wills. I think the main thing is slowing down a little bit and being prepared for interaction. I do think both players are going to move completely away from, are going to generally move away from Show and Tell. Brad doesn't actually need Show and Tell at all. He'll probably take them all out. Brock might actually not be able to get away from all of his because of his vulnerability to Grafdigger's Cage.
Reanimator is a really interesting deck. We saw it win in week 3 of the Open Series this year, way back in January, in the hand of Tommy Graves, winning with the Reanimator, defeating Adam Franzi in the finals, playing Sneak and Show. Reanimator was just a little too quick for Sneak and Show. It's one of the fastest combo decks, or at least if you consider putting Gristlebrand into play on turn 1 or turn 2 a combo, then it is one of the fastest combo decks in the format. And, it's pretty good against Sneak and Show just because it seems to be 1 or maybe even 2 full turns faster than it. But it's it's pretty fragile, I think is the difference.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. The combination of Spell Pierces and Force of Wills definitely provide a early line of defense, and obviously Thoughtseize the other way is high impact. But either way, I think that we're going to end up seeing whoever does the most best brainstorms having a little bit of an edge.
Gristlebrand going to be running rampant in this match. Jerry Thompson currently running rampant with Gristlebrand. He is sitting at 4-0 playing Sneak and Show this weekend. He does have a couple copies of Omniscience in his list, something a little different that he's trying this weekend.
Something that's really interesting about this build of Reanimator is with 4 Lotus Petals, it's a little more turbo than most.
Yeah, this is the build I played a build like this.
Just 15 land.
Yeah, I played this build in DC at the Grand Prix that Owen Turtenwald, our good friend, did win. That one was a long time coming, but I actually like the turbo build a lot.
Yeah.
Why play fair?
Yeah.
I don't say that often, but hey, why play fair? Get that Gristlebrand to play right now. Get him dead, man. That's the goal. I think actually, it's like a one-shot, of course, but I like the fact that, your goal is very, very clear. You just want to get some creature into play as fast as you can. It does allow for a turn 1 Entomb,
Lotus
Reanimate draw.
Petal is like a one-shot?
I mean, I think your goal is just one shot.
Just
That's
try
all.
to do something really powerful. Just throw all your stuff into making 1 degenerate threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it works, cool. And if it doesn't, okay, we'll just play the next game. For the most part.
Yeah, I mean, the backup plan of trying to cast Grizzlebrand is...
Yeah, kind of off the table.
Well, I mean, you do have 15 land. How many of them make mana?
In 3, 4, 5, 6,
7 of them.
Pedal.
So if you get a Petal and all of your mana-producing lands, you can get... That's why he has Krakus in the sideboard.
Now you're thinking.
Yeah. Now you're playing with power.
That's outside the box thinking by Brock. Brock and Brad shuffling up here for game number 2. We will be underway shortly here for you guys at home. We've seen a lot of unfair decks thus far, and looks to be a lot of unfair decks in the room. from what I've heard from Andrew Shrout. Last weekend, we didn't see a lot of comboing at all. Of course, Burn winning in Vegas, but this weekend, there are a lot of combo decks here.
You asked me earlier about my favorite deck. I gotta say, the unfairness of showing up with Dragonstorm was pretty fun. When you're just playing
Worlds?
combo, yeah, when you're playing combo in a world, in a format that has zero preparation for combo whatsoever, that was pretty sweet.
Do we have a lot of people reading cards? Like,
Oh yeah,
keep
there
picking,
were
up
some
picking up
readers.
the spine rock
There's some
hole.
readers. And then playing Mono Red Beatdown in Dallas, that was a good time, just because it was in Sly way back. This is a 96.
Yeah, I was going to say, this has got to be before
first
I
time, first time anybody ever, really played Red at a Pro Tour. And it was fun just playing with all these horrible cards that at the time people just did not take seriously. Because back then, Beatdown was just not even like a thing that people considered. And just in terms of cards that are fun and enjoyable, Michael Jacob top-8'd with a Grixis deck that's like the truest Grixis deck I ever knew. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Cruel Ultimatum, Cryptic Command, Preordain, just literally all the sweet cards.
And my least favorite lands of all time,
Which ones?
the Vivids.
No,
He didn't have I thought he had Vivids.
0 Vivid Lands.
I know it's the extended that Paul one. I thought there were Vivids in there.
Wafotapa had Vivid Lands.
Oh, okay.
MJ
okay.
had Crumbling Necropolis. He was playing my Grixis deck with Punishing Fire.
Yeah, I know you had
Kinda like the Grove. Yeah, Grove of the Burn Willows. Dreadship Reef, the old Dreadship Reef, Grove of the Burn Willows.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Power out the mana.
We got ourselves a dress on turn number 1. 2 copies of Swan Song. There's also a Gristlebrand, a Grafdigger's Cage, and an Emrakul hanging out over there. So this hand was kept by Brad. You see the only hand is an Ancient Tomb, based off of the power of Grafdigger's Cage.
And the fear of having only 5 cards if he double mulligans.
Yep.
But without the Grafdigger's Cage, he really does not have a lot going on.
I would draw an island. That's my professional
what you would
advice.
do?
That's my professional advice.
I would draw Flooded Strand.
Well, let's see
All
what
right,
we did.
Polluted Delta. Whatever. No, he's got a Flooded Strand in there.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
no,
yeah?
he's got a flush straight in the deck.
Oh,
I thought
yeah?
you meant in his hand.
No.
The draw is actually Beseiju Shelters
yeah.
All, which
That's good.
one
Ramp
could
your
argue.
mana up.
I was gonna say, one could argue the worst draw in his deck right now.
They'd be kind of right.
It's not so good. Not so good. Brad gonna take that one in stride.
I don't know. A second Ancient Tomb wouldn't be great. Or a City of Traders right now would not be super.
Is it a Taxian Probe? It is. All right, so we're gonna take a look here.
First Blood.
Wants to see the grip. There's a Thoughtseize. This is an Exhume. Here's Lotus Petal. It's time for a Daze, along with a Caracas. So neither player with a very good hand right now. Brock looking for either an Entune to put the creature in the graveyard or to Thoughtseize himself if he draws one. But he does have a little bit of protection in the meantime. But the reason you saw him not cast Thoughtseize right now is simply because he'd like to target himself if he can.
That's one of the things I love about Legacy. Once you settle in for like an interactive game, people make their decks into such horrible collections of like situational reactive cards and combo pieces that you end up with just like piles of steaming garbage for hands, and you got to try to work with it. It's like a draft deck that went wrong, and you got to try to salvage something with it.
It's not pretty.
No,
the
and then other
hands that
times
both players have right now are not pretty.
And sometimes you just kill them on turn 2, but both of these players would get obliterated by a sealed deck.
Brock gonna take a draw. It looked like it was a land for the turn.
So that's why people play stuff like Maverick.
Keeps him honest.
Keeps them honest. It's the closest thing to a sealed deck we have in this format.
Brad draws his card, simply does pass the turn back. No blue yet for those Swan Songs in hand. Sprunger gonna draw a card.
What would these players do if they had like any pressure?
If they're just being beaten down by like a grizzly bear.
That's why Jace the Mind Sculptor's so good.
Oh, that's the reason? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the beatdown.
You know, if you can put together a song about Jace the Living Guild Pact, I will truly be impressed.
How impressed are we talking? Because that might already be in the works.
Oh boy. Rutherford's gonna take a draw here. Oh, we did it. It is time to play some Magic now.
Jace the Living Guild Pact, most recent of all.
Yeah. Here is Volcanic Island. Let's see what Brad's got to play this turn. I'm assuming there will be something. He did play and sacrifice that land very quickly, but he's just going to pass the turn back. He was just happy to actually have an island. The problem here for Brad is, can he beat the Caracas that's in play?
No. Next question.
Yeah, it involves, of course, sneak attack and getting a little bit creative.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very good chance that he boarded in one of his 2 Blood Moons or both Blood Moons as a potential answer.
We'll see if he can find someone to do that. But right now, both of these players are in a holding pattern. But I do think that things do favor Sprunger a little bit here.
Well, the big thing Brad has going for him is he's only 1 land away from being able to catch Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yep.
Which is absolutely a wrecking ball in Seal Deck, which is what these players are playing at the moment.
What do we have here? This is a little Thoughtseize action. The question is who's it's targeting.
Probably Brad, but you never know.
Yeah, it could be going the... And then, see, that's exactly why I asked. That's exactly why I asked. Because we're targeting self.
No. See, that was loose. We would not tolerate that on the pro. You can't just put Thoughtseize on the stack for 30 seconds, checking for a response, then target yourself. I don't know. I'd be like, hell no, you're Thoughtseizing me.
Yeah. Take my card. Take card out of my hand. And here's a swan song in the Exhume.
Yeah, besides, I think you should have Thoughtseized him.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the goal here, truthfully, is to actually get a swan
2/2 flyer
and start giving the beatdowns.
I like that. I think that's a real good theory.
Like, Brad's hand actually isn't very good. We know what his hand is. It's creatures and swan songs. So his hand's not very good, and he can't actually put a creature into play because of Caracas.
But now we have a 2/2 flyer.
Yes, Derek Sheets is going to be showing up here in just a moment.
Yeah, this is hot.
On his bird, ready to give his beatdowns.
Yeah, the bird beats are as real as the streets of Ravnica.
Which is where we are. That was a good rap too. I expect that on the next
natural.
CD. it just comes out.
Yeah, it's just a freestyle, man.
Rutherford draws a copy of Force of Will. I got a good feeling about Bird Beatdown being good this game.
What kind of a token is a 2?
Well, we're gonna get. There's Derek.
There we go.
There he is.
Yes.
Looks like a needle is in Sprunger's hand right now as well, so he can shut off the sneak attack out. In comes Sheets, the Swan Song token for 2. Doesn't get a lot of play, but it sure does look good when he does.
A 2 die for a counter is kind of lame. This token here is much smarter. No bird brain.
Needle. On the stack. The gathering is certainly upon us. Looks like Brad's going to play a brainstorm here. So this
A lot of
be
people
the
don't
response.
realize the new Magic movie is going to be a musical.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Now, Sprunger has a daze in his hand. I actually think the daze is really interesting right now because if you daze this brainstorm, Rutherford has to take 2, and I believe that we are basically in a racing situation.
No, I see. The thing though is that daze would be real nice against like a sneak attack, for instance. You know,
we,
if it's still
we
live.
have a needle though.
That's true.
Yeah, we're gonna go. I like this daze a lot. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna float a blue.
Are you talking about Time Walk?
Yeah.
Time Walk?
Yeah.
0-mana Time Walk?
Yeah, take 2. All right. That's cool. And now it's time to draw some cards. So 3 cards coming, and 2 cards, of course, will go back. Rutherford's trying to counter this needle. But I like this line of play by Brock a lot. It deals 2 points of damage. Our plan right now is actually to just win, I believe, with the Swan Song token. Maybe another one will show up to the party. But I like what I see here.
Yeah, who is that on the bird token?
That's Derek Sheets.
Yeah, that's
Season 1 Invitational winner.
Yeah.
Now here's a Force of Will. That'll be another point of damage, mind you.
It's an extra turn.
So there goes that Pithing Needle. However, I think Sprunger may have another one in his hand. Oh yes.
And there's
no. You gotta play it.
Dude, this is a whole lot of like.
You gotta play that.
This is like you're just sitting there in Vegas. It's the World Series. You put your chips in, but then you pull it back.
Yep.
All right, there's the Pithing Needle.
He had a blue mana floating, so now there is the needle. You have to imagine this is going to name Sneak Attack, and if this names Sneak Attack, Rutherford has to get this off the table before he can even attempt to move forward, because now Show and Tells are off because of Caracas.
But I think that the real weapon that Rutherford is going to be relying on is Jace the Mind Sculptor. Yeah.
Planeswalker extraordinaire.
Yeah, Jace, I wouldn't be surprised if he just pied the needle naming Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Well, we'll see. We'll get confirmation on exactly what that needle is naming. And, wow, there it is.
Oh, that's weird. Huh.
Yeah. Here's a brainstorm from Brad.
For those who did not follow our babbling just a moment ago, Pie the Needle is in fact on Jace the Mind Sculptor because he's better than all.
Yep. Ooh, through the breach. That one doesn't do very much.
Yeah, the struggle is real.
Caracas is really frustrating.
Besaiju's kind of sweet, though. Besaiju actually makes the Through the Breach uncounterable,
Accurate.
which means that Griselbrand can get down and make Brock taste it, and there's not really a lot of things he can do to counter it.
Well, it can get down. That is true. Caracas will make him get up.
The key is to tap the Caracas first.
Oh, gotcha. Here's a Lotus Petal. That'll be Rutherford's turn. He's just going to pass the turn back over to Sprunger. Sprunger's going to untap that Swan Song token. This bird's going to keep flying through the air. I believe this is the big strategy, and for 2 more we go.
Caracas is so much better than Plains. Like, it is out of control how much better Caracas is than Plains.
It's a relatively powerful card.
Can you imagine in Standard, I just put down Bramaz with Caracas to back it up? That would be disgusting.
I think Rutherford's making a move here. He's going to sacrifice this Volcanic Island very quickly, and I have a feeling he might be casting Through the Breach right now.
Oh, yeah. Block the bird, or try to. Caracas will bounce it, but at least he'll draw a bazillion cards.
There this is. Can't counter it, of course. It's going through Besaiju.
And if this taps the Caracas, he can go off on his own turn now that he has a full hand. All these jokes. Through the Breach is not a card for jokers.
He's going to cast a Brainstorm in response. I think somebody's looking for a counterspell right now.
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Yeah, you're right. No is not the no is the answer, because we can't find one due to Besaiju. But does Brock know that?
I mean, Rutherford did point at his Besaiju.
Of course, when you spend mana on it, you're casting a sorcery. It is uncounterable. So, 2 cards are going to go back here for Brock. You see there's an Ashen Rider and a Careful Study in the hand now. This is going to resolve. Through the Breach resolves. This is a Griselbrand. It wants to block. Okay, so here's the problem. Rutherford's at 9. So if he activates Griselbrand, he goes down to 2. And then he dies. Yeah, so that's not going to work the way he wants it to. And he is just going to concede the game. Brock Sprunger is going to win game number 2 here via Swan Song token.
He still had 9 life.
No, so he can't. So he has 9 life.
Yeah.
Activate Caracas before blocks.
Okay, goes back to my hand.
All right, fine.
Now I untap.
You're at 7.
Yeah, hopefully I draw Sneak Attack.
Fair enough.
This isn't even, like, weird. Like,
Fair enough. It looks like he missed it.
He might have been a small favorite.
Yeah, but he's not a 4-outer.
A 4-outer?
He's got 4 sneak attacks. That's his out.
He could totally Echoing Truth the bird. He's
6
even
outs.
got, like, 4 turns.
6 outs. It may have been a hasty concession. I think that Brad had a plan, obviously. Through the Breach, I'm going to block and activate Griselbrand. And then when the plan fell apart, which was I'm at 9, Caracas is I activate, I go down to 2 out of a blocker, I'm facing lethal. So you got to take that extra step, obviously, of thinking I can just not activate this, put it back in my hand, and if I peel Sneak Attack, I can actually Emrakul away his entire board. That's all.
Yeah, that's true.
We had to go a little further, and Brad didn't make it there, so we'll play a 3rd game instead. You can see a little bit of frustration. I think he realizes the mistake he may have made. I don't think too much changes in the sideboards here for either player at this point, so I think they're going to analyze, take a look here, but you just already see Brock is shuffling up and getting ready for game 3 here. Rutherford may change a few options here. He does have a couple of interesting cards in his deck. 1 Faithful Suiting, for example, in his starting 60. Maybe that comes in or maybe stays away. We'll see.
Oh, my God. You know what would be great? Like a Spindrift Drake.
I don't know what that is.
Or like like the 1 mana Scarecrow, the 2/3 artifact creature. If you could just get in there every turn.
It's a 1 mana 2/3 Scarecrow?
Yeah. If your opponent plays any creatures, you have to sacrifice it from Weatherlight.
Okay, I didn't note that one. I was thinking of when Scarecrows were brought back around like the Reaper King.
No. We're talking
Shadowboard.
The old school Scarecrows. You've probably never heard of them.
No, I have. I promise you I haven't.
No, they're real cool. Yeah, it was
so cool they don't have a name.
You've probably never heard of them.
Mr. 20 questions over here. What is this 1 mana 2/3 Scarecrow you speak of? You know, those cool Scarecrows.
No, it's kind of a golem. It's kind of a...
So which one is it? Is it a Scarecrow or a golem?
Aren't all Scarecrows kind of golems?
I don't think that's true. No. No, I don't.
The majority are.
Well, I feel like I need to brush up on my Scarecrow Gollum reading after this match when we had the commercial.
Chameleon Colossus, Moth Dust Changeling.
Those are Scarecrow Gollums. Way to go, right towards the Changeling plan. Cairn Wanderer, Woodland, 2-mana creature I can't
Changeling.
think of. Woodland Changeling, thank you.
Yeah, speaking of names.
We are the Changeling battle. Yeah, if you have the Changeling
That's
battle,
weird.
we can do
it's
that.
It's called Straw Golem.
There's no way. Creature
it's called Straw Golem. How about that?
I'm looking up.
How do you like them apples?
I'm looking up the creature
Straw
type.
Golem. It's type Golem.
I hope it's a Scarecrow so much right now.
Straw Golem, please. What is this, amateur hour? How old were you in 1996?
10.
You were 10.
I was 10.
You were not casting Straw Golems.
You don't know what I did then.
No, I don't, but you were 10. You were probably
I was playing a lot
playing
of
with Legos or something.
NBA,
or Nintendo.
NBA Jam, ever heard of it?
NBA Jam? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I was a competitive NBA Jam player when you were like, I don't know, 10.
Of course you were. Yeah. Yeah.
Please. Oh my God. Boom shakalaka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can quote the game too. It's not hard. By the way,
You can remember that long ago?
I can. Well, I don't have a creature type here. Okay, tough guy. What's the flavor text on Straw Golem?
It's not 1996 anymore.
Well, I know it.
You are looking at it on your phone.
There is no evidence of that.
Yeah, all right. Probably something like fire or some kind of a joke, relating to the Wizard of Oz or something. Something about fire.
It is Don't Look at Me. I didn't build it.
Yeah, okay, well,
By
don't look at me.
Hannah, Weatherlight Navigator.
Yeah, no, she's said a lot of great things. That's not one of them, but she says some things.
She knows a lot. That is for sure.
I can't believe you're trying to lecture me on Magic cards in 1996.
I'm mostly lecturing you on NBA Jam
What were
now.
Are you kidding me?
A little.
So there were two things going on in 1996.
Okay.
One, I was dominating at NBA Jam, and you were 10. Two, that was my first Pro Tour top 8. You were busy being 10.
I was busy being 10.
Don't talk to me about NBA Jam or 1996.
How do you have all that time to top 8 a Pro Tour and play NBA Jam?
Dude, you know what's so sick, though, is this whole time you never even realized Straw Golem came out in 97. It's because of the Weatherlight. Weatherlight came out in spring, late spring, like right around May, June of 97.
You know Weatherlight, my first box of Magic cards?
No.
My dad bought me a box of Weatherlight.
Good for
From
you.
the comic book store.
I like to see people doing well.
We
So
have
you see a
ourselves
Taxi
a
Pro.
We got ourselves a Reanimate, a Ponder, a Gristlebrand, and Entomb, and Pithing Needle, and a couple of lands there.
I am actually kind of jealous. Dude, do you know how much I would have loved for Magic to exist when I was 10? That seems so awesome.
Dad bought me the old box of Weatherlight. I had no idea what I was doing, but it
Dude.
sure was fun.
Oh my God. What I would give to have Magic exist when I'm 10.
Are we moving in here? What do we got? Grafdigger's Cage? That's good.
That's hot.
That's good.
So Brock can no longer execute his game plan.
No. Looks like Brad may have kept another can of colorless mana. There's a City of Traders over there. You see a Ponder. There is a Jace the Mind Sculptor in his hand as well.
He only has 14 land that produce colored mana or can find them. It's not a ton. Let me do the hypergeometric math real quick and figure out what the probability is. It looks like it's actually, that's not too bad. Right around 78, 80%.
To draw 2 of them?
No, to draw 1. You only need 1 to cast all your brainstorms and your ponders.
Oh, then you just find another one.
Yeah.
Okay. A Ponder here from Brock. He is looking for a way to get that Grafdigger's Cage off of the table. Taking a look at his sideboard here. Does he have any bounce spells? He does have 2 copies of Echoing Truth. We don't know if they're in the deck. I have to imagine they were. He didn't really go back to sideboarding for game number 3, and he did see Grafdigger's Cage in game number 2. So
You know what would be hot? Goblin Vandal. Or so I guess he needs it in his blue-black deck. And there aren't a ton of anti-artifact creatures that can also beat down in blue-black, but dude, I don't know. I feel like this Reanimator deck just boarded in like a bunch of cheap little creatures. Just deliver the beats.
we've seen that. We've seen people do that before.
Yeah.
Bloodghast and Vendilion Click. You can Entomb for Bloodghast, get that stuff
Sick.
back. Yeah.
I'm into it. That's hot.
Rutherford found his blue source of mana, by the way. It was a polluted Delta. It was laying on top of his deck. Now he's going to cast that and play a Ponder. Probably looking for the other blue source of mana, and if he finds that, he'll be able to cast Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Cool.
You got to be into that, I imagine.
Yeah, it's okay.
I imagine you're probably a fan.
Yeah. No, Jace is pretty great.
Brad's going to keep here pretty quickly. Looks like he may have picked up a copy of Force of Will.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good indication that he got something good.
Sprunger going to play an island. This is a Thoughtseize. We'll see who it's targeting.
I always like in spots like this trying to draw the card that is not the card I really want and putting the Force of Will on top. But in this spot, it's just too risky because of Brock's ability to just, next turn just go off with Entomb and Reanimate.
Brad doesn't want to lay the hand down, but I think he's going to.
You got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him, know when to walk away, know when to run. 2
City of Traders, a Force of Will, a Jace the Mind Sculptor, and a Gristlebrand. So there goes Jace.
I like that.
Rutherford with a pretty weak hand now. And it looks like Sprunger does want to write these down really quickly. Again, it is a Force of Will, Gristlebrand, and 2 copies of City of Traders. Rutherford just looking for 1 more blue mana at this point. As I think he is actually hiding a Jace on top of his deck. I believe. Let's see if Sprunger wants to do anything else on this turn here. Looks a little unsure of himself. Maybe time for a little more cantripping. Perhaps a careful study. Put some of those cards in the graveyard. Find some better ones. But he will just pass the turn back over to Rutherford, who does draw a Ponder. We'll see if Brad does want to fire this off right now.
Dude, if you just bust out with a Shadow Mage Infiltrator.
There's got to be like a better one than that. Does it have to have fear?
No.
All right, give me a Dimir Cutpurse then.
Dude, Johnny Magic, though.
Look, I get it. I get it.
Dimir Cutpurse is pretty filthy. The only thing I don't understand is how is Shadow Mage Infiltrator not a legend?
Just bad design.
That's a bad flavor. That's a flavor break. Johnny Magic is a freaking legend.
In theory, shouldn't they all be legends then?
I don't know. I know the Johnny Magic.
Yeah, no,
Johnny Magic is a
just
legend.
Shadow Mage. That's it.
Yeah.
Avalanche Rider, definitely not a legend.
No. Darwin for sure is a legend.
How nice would it be if, like,
and plus that guy with that one guy with the belt, he might be a legend.
Yeah, most of them are legends, and like, there's like a discussion meeting, and one of them was just like, you know what, Silence Simulacrum, you're sorry, man, you're just not a legend. You're just gonna be a normal artifact creature. People can play as many of you as you want.
Yeah, or Michael Flores' invitational card, Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
Not a legend?
Yeah, not a legend. There you go. Sprunger does resolve a Ponder. Gonna keep him and then pass the turn back. Brad draws the Jace that we knew he had. Now he's gonna cast this Ponder here. 2 and 3. I don't think that's a blue mana, so he's gonna go shuffling very quickly. Well, you can see the plan here for Rutherford. It's to resolve Jace and start to go to work with the Planeswalker. His hand is relatively poor otherwise. Mystery card coming from Ponder. It's a copy of Sneak Attack. That one's not too bad. Rutherford really can't do much else this turn. Again, Force of Will, Jace, a City of Traders, a Gristlebrand, and a Sneak Attack is Rutherford's hand. Sprunger just draws another card here. Grafdigger's Cage is doing a real number on him this game. Do you wish you could get an invitational card?
No.
No? I think we should bring that back.
I think that'd be awesome. We're not going to use a wish on that. Yeah, no, I think that invitational card, it'd be pretty unreal awesome if the world champion was immortalized on a card, to be sure. I would sure hope that it doesn't have like flavor text of, like designed by, Reed Duke or whatever. But like if you just put the person in the artwork, I mean, hell, it doesn't even have to be designed by, just putting the person in the artwork is such an awesome thing. Like it's such a low cost. It's not like Dark Confidant looking sort of like one of the greatest Hall of Famers of all time is like in some way a bad thing for Magic.
Needle named Sneak Attack. So we had a little bit of battle here. Needle got cast. Brad played a Force of Will, removing Jace. That's his only other Jace. Both of them are gone. And so now Needle comes in. It wins the war, does Sprunger with a Force of Will, removing Daze. And now Needle names Sneak Attack. And so now for Rutherford, either A, has to draw a Through the Breach, B, play Show and Tell, which is risky against the Reanimator deck, or C, get that Needle off the board temporarily and kill his opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Both players have successfully played 1-mana cards that prevent the other person from playing Magic.
Yes, they certainly have. I guess Brad could get very creative, maybe cast a spell and Swan Song it.
Oh yeah.
Get to work
Whatever
with
you
the
gotta
bird.
do. I just think that there's some pretty awesome examples of people who have been immortalized on invitational cards that it's just value added. You know what I mean? Like John Finkel, Bob Maher, Haley Berry, the meddling mage. I think it's like, I just think that it's like such an awesome like added dimension to
just makes
to
things,
Magic.
Makes things better. Here's the Entomb. Time for Brock to go search for a card.
You remember that in Alara block, was it Conflux or Shards of Alara?
Third set.
Yeah, third set. Yeah, Shards of Alara I think was the third one. No, third one. I'm sorry. That's Alara Reborn. Yeah, in Alara Reborn, Halle Berry's invitational card finally got printed.
Good for her. She had a really dominating performance at Invitational and she won. What am I entombing for? Looks like we might be entombing for Reanimate, just to thin the deck a little bit.
Questionable. That's why I always like stuff like one deep analysis in this deck. You know, just to get busy.
I mean, you can go a little too deep there though.
Yeah, I mean, not that it matters with Grafdigger's Cage in play, but
you can maybe go a little too deep. Sprunger's just going to play a underground C before passing the turn back. Rutherford, you saw deploy his sneak attack.
Life from the Loam would be hot though, since bizarrely Life from the Loam is not stopped by Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah, this is true. Rutherford, considering casting the Blood Moon that he drew, what he can do is just search for a basic island and cast Blood Moon here. He's going to take a little sack, go get a basic island. I think he's going to drop down the Blood Moon.
I'm into it.
Maybe he'll play the City of Traders right now. Maybe he won't. And it looks like he will. So there's 3 mana, and this is a Blood Moon.
Blood Moon, super, super effective at shutting off Caracas, but in this particular game, it doesn't even matter.
Doesn't seem to be a game about Caracas.
Yeah, no, I think this is pretty much the nail in the coffin. I mean, he already has, you know, Grafdigger's Cage, but now Grafdigger's Cage plus Blood Moon means that Brock is unlikely to cast very many spells the rest of the game. So we can sit here for a while, and hopefully in the next 9.5 minutes, Rutherford can find a way to actually close the game out, such as getting rid of that needle or playing a Jace the Mind Sculptor.
No more of them. Sorry, my friend. They're gone.
He boarded in a third.
You think so?
Why would he not?
Yeah, I guess it's Chase. All right. All right.
The only question is why I didn't have the third in the main deck. Let's be serious.
It's time to discard and exhume.
Discarding to hand size.
It's funny, these games, you know, as high-powered as both of these decks are.
High-powered.
It's as high-powered as both of these decks are.
Definitely losing to a sealed deck.
Yeah, that's the best part. It's like when they play against each other and they sideboard, they just stop each other from doing things. So now you have this kind of just horrible battle of just 2 incredibly powerful decks just doing, I mean, they're trying to do their powerful things, but are being stopped from doing them.
Yeah, I mean, this is Magic just the way Cuneo intended.
Yeah, you don't get to do anything.
Which is in stark contrast to the way that Garfield intended.
Yes.
Blood Moon. Blood Moon is among the most messed up Magic cards ever printed. If I could ban one card from Modern, it would be Blood Moon.
Okay. That's the one that's got to go, huh?
Blood Moon. The hell kind of a card is Blood Moon?
Rutherford's going to take a draw here. It's a brainstorm. Gonna pass it back over to Sprunger. This is a Lotus Petal. A little one-shot of mana. And a Careful Study. So hit 1 and 2 here for Brock. See if he can find anything that he likes. I mean, he's got plenty of, it seems as though, he's got plenty of cards to discard, given the Grafdigger's Cage. Man, I'm going to imagine the players will finish this game. See, Gristlebrand and Tomb are going to go to the graveyard. I imagine they will. We're working our way underneath 7 minutes here. There's a brainstorm and a turn for Brad. 1, 2, and 3. Again, he's looking for a card like Through the Breach or Echoing Truth to get that needle off the board so you can actually, get to work here.
Hill Giant would be pretty good in this position.
That would be unbeatable right now.
Put him on a 6-turn clock.
Yeah.
Ooh, Storm Shaman. Fire breathing. 0/4 fire breathing?
Alliances.
Yeah. Originally.
Did it come back? I think it came back in a base set. Nice. Look at that knowledge of cards.
It was also in the Beatdown Anthology set, I believe. I'm not positive, but possibly.
Brad kept with the Ponder, and what he kept was one of those Echoing Truths. Finally found one. You see him slide the permanents over. It looks like we're going to have a Lotus Petal hit the battlefield, and we do.
Is this the showdown?
Is this the right time to have the showdown?
The problem, of course, being that if you have the showdown now, if you're not ready, you no longer have the Echoing Truth.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to pass. So he's not just ready yet.
What's the rush? It's not like Brock can win. It's not like Brock can cast any spells.
Yeah. Brock has In Island and one shot from a Lotus Petal. There's a swamp.
There he drew his and swamp. He has 2 swamps and 2 islands in his deck.
Yeah.
Half of them in play at the moment.
That one may have been important, actually.
Absolutely. This turns on the vast majority of his deck that he did not have access to.
Now here's a Thoughtseize. That was the perfect turn to draw that swamp for Brock. He can now Thoughtseize. It forces the action for Rutherford. Rutherford does have a Brainstorm in his hand, so he can actually hide these cards. And I imagine
It'll cost him his Lotus Petal, though.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that it's worth hiding the Echoing Truth. I think it's too important. I really do. Well, it's not my call to me. That's Brad's call to me. He does not look too thrilled.
I don't know. He's so close to laying him down. So close. But he's eyeing that Brainstorm. It'll cost him a Brainstorm and a Lotus Petal. 2 cards bizarrely not banned in Legacy despite being restricted in Vintage.
Gotta let people spice it up.
Yeah.
Let them play.
Yeah, let the players play.
This is a very, very reluctant Force of Will. It's going to be removing a Brainstorm. And if Brock has a Force of Will back here, I imagine he's going to use it. It seems like a great time to do so. But he is just going to let the Thoughtseize resolve. And pass the turn back over to Rutherford. Now Rutherford's going to take a draw here. So that Force of Will ends up working out. Volcanic Sea. Volcanic Island is the draw. This is an Echoing Truth on the needle. So it's time to move in. And Brad does have backup.
He has the Swan Song to protect this Echoing Truth from any potential Force of Wills.
Wow, he lets it go.
He does.
I guess Brock just does not have a blue card to Force Will. Now here comes Gristlebrand. That's going to come in via Sneak Attack. And you have to imagine he's going to activate the Gristlebrand, go down to 3, and try to find Emrakul for the 1-2 punch. Couple copies of Gristlebrand. There it is.
And GG.
He found a needle as well. Going to play this Sneak Attack, put Emrakul into play. And finally, one of these players actually did something broken, and that's going to do it. Brad Rutherford wins this match over Brock Sprunger. 2-1. Sneak and Show moves on to 4-1 over Reanimator.